A former mentor of mine used to say, you never sell out your land and resources to foreign investors. He would say, even if you leased it to them on condition for 99 years, you never sell it outright. Let's talk about that today. I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Chung, a political leadership strategist, author of the book Political Change, and president for Kenley College, where we provide leadership training and strategy for new and aspiring politicians. Today is the third video in our series on wealth maximization and politics. And if you've missed the first two videos in the series, where were you? Not to worry. I'll catch you up to speed. We've been talking in these last 2 weeks on how to maximize wealth in human capital, and then last time we dealt with natural capital. Today, we're going to look at the wealth that's found in investments. And if you haven't had a chance to at least catch that first session, then the key that we found to maximizing wealth was management. You may be wondering, why am I teaching you about wealth maximization where you are a new or aspiring politician? You're thinking, what do I know about this? I don't have the experience that requires me to make these key decisions. And I'll say, you may be really wrong. Because the fact that you don't have the experience that might have gotten your country into all the problems with wealth maximization might actually be a good thing. You bringing a fresh perspective to this concept of maximizing wealth might be exactly what the people in your nation are crying out for. It's exactly what they need, especially when you understand the key is the principle of management. Now let's go back to what my former mentor would say. His view was that if you sold the land outright or you sold your resources outright, the nation no longer has a say with what those new owners will do with the resources, whether it's in the land or in anything around the land, whether it's your minerals, it might be your diamonds, it could be gold, it could be uranium, whatever it is. If you sell it out to foreign investors, you don't have a say in what they do. And that way, if you sell it though on condition, in other words, if you lease it on condition, you can continue to have a say in what is done and what is not done, because there might be conditions that you put in place that if those conditions aren't met, they're already in breach of contract. And either we renegotiate the terms or contract ends. Conditions should have at a very bare minimum, hear my words, very bare minimum, at least some creation of jobs and upskilling of the people. And then you at least have some kind of mutually beneficial contract going on, a mutually beneficial agreement between you and the foreign investor. If you go back into history, and you look at how trade and investments were done in ancient times, you would notice that kings, whenever they entered an agreement, a trade agreement with one of their alliances, they would always ensure that those trade agreements were mutually beneficial. Now, when you bring that into today's way of doing government and politics, it's not always so straightforward, because sometimes the politicians making the decisions are not always making those decisions in the best interests of the people. They may be making the decisions they do about which investors to go into deals with because they're getting paid to take that investor on board. So they look at what's benefiting them as opposed to what's benefiting the people. That's not how principled, purposeful politicians work, though. We look at what benefits the community and the nation. What if the politician didn't take money, didn't take a bribe to sign off on a particular foreign investment? What if They were so blindsided by what they saw as creation of jobs that they didn't look deeper into it. They didn't look into not just the fact that there were, yes, jobs created, but they didn't look at the quality of jobs. They didn't look at the duration of the jobs. They didn't look at if there were going to be opportunities even for local people to benefit by creating businesses of their own, maybe to supply to this new foreign investor entity. Foreign investments can have wealth potential for your nation, but do not assume they always will. They must be managed well so that the wealth can be maximized. And that's why we keep coming back to the key term. What's our key term? By now you should know it. What is it? Management. Part of management means looking at what we're offering relative to what we're getting. What's the trade-off? What's the long, the short, the medium-term benefits or costs? If we went into this deal, do we really benefit? Or do we end up as a nation paying more and getting less? Now, there's also a more sinister side, and forgive me that I have to say this, but there are times that you do have to look at when an overseas country is looking to buy out, let's say, a lot of your land. Then you need to say, are there potential national security implications here? Now, I know that's not what we're talking about. Okay, I understand we're dealing with wealth maximization, but it does need to be factored into your analysis of if this foreign investment is worthwhile, because there are costs, and not all costs involved are going to be financial. So when you're looking at, does this make sense for us? You want to do what they call the SWOT analysis. Remember that? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We look at the whole picture. When we determine, is this the best way to maximize wealth for us? Or is this even a good choice for us? It may not be the best, as in there may be others in other areas, but this one may still be good. But what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? And definitely, always, now more than ever before, we're going to have to look at the threats. So the next time an investor comes and they're scouting out the land and they want to invest because they're telling you these are some benefits, and you say, we need to look at this. We need to evaluate. And you may or may not be in a government role, but you can sure ask some questions. And I want you to think of these. Now, all of these questions that I'm going to say may not apply, but you can look at what will apply in your context. Here we go. Number one, who is benefiting and in what ways are they benefiting? Number two, for how long? 3, how and will future generations benefit from this investment deal? 4, if outside specialists are being brought in, will our people be trained in those skills as well? And to what extent? 5, who is responsible for the management of the asset in the long run? 6, what short, medium, and long-term costs are involved for our country? 7, what, if any, short, medium, and long-term benefits are involved for the impacted communities? And of course, the big one is number 8. Who will own the asset in the end? As a new or aspiring politician, yes, you can raise your voice. Regardless if you have the official position or title, it doesn't matter. Raise your voice. You have a right to, as a citizen in your nation. Ask those questions that need to be asked, because we cannot assume that our government leaders are asking the questions that I've just shared with you. Every country is different. So find the questions of what I said that will get the questions you need answered. answered not only for you, but answered for the people, so that the wealth that's hidden in your country isn't being carted off to other nations, but it is being maximized within the country itself. Decision making is one of the toughest aspects of leading in government and politics. And that's why it plays such a crucial part in the courses that we teach in our certificate in government and political leadership. We don't just want you to come up with ideas, but we want you to think a certain way. We want you to think with the mindset of a leader. We want you to think with the mindset of a principled, purposeful leader. Now, if you're interested in taking that certificate in government and political leadership program, which is, by the way, a fully accredited program, I'll put a link to it in the description box so that you can find out more and sign up today. It was indeed my pleasure, my privilege to share with you in these last 3 videos about wealth maximization from a political perspective. Now, that's it for this series. And I hope you join me next time when we'll be taking on another political leadership topic. That's all for today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.